Well, hello. I am testing out StreamYard for the first time, so bear with me if there are any issues. Just wait a couple minutes here to make sure everything is working. Just wait a couple minutes here. I see there's already a comment from Femalism saying that they watched live and the NCAAs and saw all the black pom poms. It was amazing to hand them out and see the support and see the support grow over the event. We were there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Save Women Sports team of amazing women were there through the rain on Friday with their umbrellas, not giving up, holding the line. And that's what this is about. We all need to step up, speak the truth, and stop compromising. And if we all spoke the truth, we wouldn't be in the situation we are in. So I hope to have a special guest joining us in a little while. Until then, so I got back from Atlanta Sunday night. It was quite the adventure. I can't believe the media that we got in. All the national news channels and ESPN covered our protesters on the inside live during the coverage. And as Femalism pointed out in the earlier message, you could see the black pom poms. And not only did we hand out black pom poms, we had over 100 copies of Unsporting, Linda Blade and Barbara Kay's book. And we had the honor of having Linda Blade at our press conference Thursday around lunchtime after Leah competed for the first time in the championships. It was amazing to see how many people took them and said they were very interested in reading them. And I think a big hurdle in our movement has been awareness. And this book is really going to open a lot of people's eyes. And I'm so thankful that Linda and Barbara were able to write it. And then we had some amazing donors to give these copies out to help these parents see how we got to this point and why it is so important for them and their daughters to speak up. I ran into a mom in the hallway of one of the daughters that lost to Leah, and she was just sobbing. And it's so hard to see them feel like they're stuck. And I think our team really helped them feel more comfortable and are getting to a place where they feel safer speaking up. They can't cancel us all, everybody. Come on, let's just speak the truth and do what's right here. And what's right is protecting women's sex-based spaces, not just sports. Sports is the tip of the iceberg. Besides the books and the pom-poms, I handed out over 150 or so of these buttons to stickers, and we have these really cool fast facts postcards that have a lot of the facts about the differences between males and females that we handed out. And Save Women Sports has some new brochures, and they're really nice and sturdy, good for raising awareness. As I said, it's all about raising awareness. We just got to start having those tough conversations with friends, family, coaches, administration, and help them see, show them our website, savewomensports.com, and all the males competing in female sports. Like, it's just not one or two, it's a couple, and it's more than one girl each time being put out. Leah took many girls' spots along the way, and then the spots of 3 women in this NCAA championship, and now holds a championship title. More than one woman losing out is too many. I think we can all agree on that. It's time to hold the line and no compromises. It's crazy to think that some women's organizations are allowing this or saying that testosterone levels make such a difference. And I got these stickers from this awesome design from Birdie Rose. Women are not a hormone level, right? Testosterone levels shouldn't even play a part of this. We're women saying no, and that should be enough. Why isn't that enough? Oh, Heather. Hi, Heather. Heather's an amazing woman I met in Washington at this cool event, Sovereign Women Speak, last summer. And there was a couple hundred of us. I'm not quite sure. Quote, TERFs, gender critical people, what I would call just realists, gathering in Washington. And the energy that came from that has just been amazing. And I've had some really great relationships coming from it. And I think there will be more Sovereign Women Speak events coming up soon. Other things in the community coming up soon. Sisters for Sisters over in Wisconsin in about a month here. And that's a weekend long celebration of Thistle Pedersen, and she was just stickering, just putting out some stickers like this. They said Turf Collective, and got basically charged with a crime for doing it. And it got dropped, but we're all going to converge on the town and show her some love. I'm going to be doing an in-person Ask Me Anything. I'm really looking forward to doing that and just connecting with people instead of just sitting and talking on a panel. I really liked connecting and hearing your thoughts and ideas. And it's just fun to get a thank you once in a while. Often I spend many hours unpaid and doing work that no one sees. So it's fun to get a thank you, to see your faces. And I've heard I give some pretty good hugs. So if we have a chance to meet in person, please do. Anyone out there, introduce yourself too. Don't be shy. If you see us in person, introduce yourself. Make sure to tell me your screen name on here. So I always have fun meeting new people. So I hope to, in a few minutes here, have a special guest joining on, someone who was with us in Atlanta and leading the charge with their awesome debate skills, which I don't do the best in person with debating. I'll be honest with you. I do best reading my speeches, but or doing my testimonies. I learned a lot from the women this weekend, and we're all learning what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. I certainly didn't do well under the stress, and it was rather triggering, I'd be honest, to sit in that pool and not only see this male robbing these girls of these titles and the smug look on his face while doing it, but also to not have the people in the stands speaking up. It's really hard to see this huge wrong happening and no one really doing anything about it. And at least Save Women's Sports was there and we didn't let it go down quietly. It was amazing to see that my little bit of draping the flag over the NCAA banner managed to get on ESPN, which let it on like a bunch of major news channels. I was actually cursed at to get it, put it the F away and get the F out. But I knew that the flag wasn't illegal. The issue or against the rules. The issue is that it wasn't supposed to be draped over the banner. So I simply or over the railing. So I simply removed it from the railing and sat back in my seat. And from then on, we followed the rules and we got involved with the security to know what we could do, what we couldn't do, and did our best to raise awareness while also keeping respect of the parents, because we've been working hard with them to help them feel comfortable and give them a platform that they feel safe in speaking out and supported. Well, thank you for saying we did a fabulous job. I think the team worked together and pulled off something really incredible. I think Save Women's Sports this weekend started peaking the world. Sports is really something that everyone should see. It's so simple. It's absurd that I even need to be here. Thanks for joining on, Beatrix. Yeah, happily retired. The security was very helpful to us. The security was helpful to both sides. As long as we all follow the rules, we're all Americans, right? We have the right to do as we please as long as we follow the rules. So they were very nice to us, and we're always grateful for any support we can get, especially when it helps benefit us like that. Later on, the next couple of days, instead of the big flag, I held a smaller vinyl banner, because then no one could complain that I was blocking their view as I was holding it, because even if it wasn't over the railing, that flag was so big, even within the size limits, it still was blocking people's view and they were complaining. So we had to use the smaller vinyl banner. It was so cool though, when we started out on Thursday, we got some subtle high fives, thumbs up, and by Saturday we had raised so much awareness. We were getting fist pumps, people joining in our chants, yelling "Save Women's Sports" when they left the pool. It was a good thing. You know, we went there really just to help the girls not feel alone. That was our mission, is to know, for those girls to know that they're not alone, and what they've been told to just basically shut up and go change somewhere else if they don't like a man walking around in their locker room. That they should have a voice, and will be that voice until they find their courage. And speaking of courage, I have a courageous woman here who has been fighting on all levels of this atrocity. I often call it like branches of the tree. Sports is just one branch of the tree of this evil ideology. Forgive my skills. I'm going to try and jump her in here. K.Yang, aka the Deprogrammer, aka from stopfemaleerasure.com. Here we are.
Hey, I think it's working.
Yay.
Awesome.
I think I might need to use my headphones to stop some.
To get the feedback to stop.
Yeah. I think that's good there. Thanks for joining. So, are you all
thanks
recovered?
for having me. I'm excited to be on here.
Are you all recovered? I'm still sipping some tea here. My voice still ain't 100%.
I'm like this. My throat's kind of raspy still. We had to do a lot of speaking up, so and you had to do a lot of interviews. And as you mentioned, I did a lot of debating. So our voices are kind of raw.
Yeah, well, I hope you don't mind me sharing. I mentioned to some of our friends, like, your debate skills and your composure is like your superpower. Like, someone debating with me like that, oh, I can't keep my cool like that. And you were just on fire, and you're very good at it. And I was grateful to have you there, because at first that the opposition were kind of heated, and then they were told to move across the street. And then once you started actually talking with them, it was you over there, some of them over with us. We were just having civil debates. And I think that was great. And it was just mainly college kids. Would you agree that that's pretty much what it was over there?
It was mostly all college kids. I don't think there was anyone over there that wasn't a college kid. And it did start out quite contentious. Like, they came over with their signs, and it started out with just a few people, males, and they had their signs saying like "hate has no place here." And of course, we had to let them know that's a mischaracterization of what we were doing there, because it has nothing to do with hate. And we were there to defend the sex-based rights of women and girls, and to preserve the biological distinction between the sexes in sport. And it did start out a little contentious. I think the Swim outlet was there and captured some of that. So you can actually see a little bit of it on Swim, where one of the guys kind of like starts pushing me with the backpack. And I actually went and had a conversation with that same person later. And I know it still doesn't make the behavior appropriate, and I don't think it is at all. But I kind of understand where these people are at, because as a lot of you know, I am a former trans rights activist, and I think I actually was a lot more indoctrinated than some of them are. Once I started speaking to them on their level and using some of their language and showing them that I knew what they were talking about, they quickly learned that I knew more than they do about their own arguments. Like, they can't even really make the arguments. They mostly have rhetoric and statements, and nothing really to back it up. And as you all know from, having these discussions online, it often goes in circles, and it went in circles a lot in person as well.
Yeah, and it was
Um,
interesting to see Colin Wright's perspective of talking
mhm,
with these people too. He wrote an amazing article on Reality's Last
really good
Stand
one.
about it. And one of our friends said it's kind of like just kind of hitting someone over the head with an encyclopedia, Colin. He's just so calm and collective, like you are too. And
I think
okay,
he's
you want that study? Okay,
probably,
right here. Okay. And just really fun to watch because there is no argument, right? Like,
yeah.
in the end, we're doing what's right and we're standing in the truth, and there ain't no messing with that.
No, and again, just there are various, when it comes to people who support trans rights, there are various people, they're coming to it from different places, right? A lot of these young people, they really have no idea what they're doing. They don't understand that this is in conflict with women's sex-based rights. They think that they
Right.
have it ingrained in their mind that that's a turf dog whistle. That's not real. So they've actually not been approached with real facts. And even when you do approach them with facts, they're automatically like, I don't believe that. So we were kind of in real time pulling stuff up on our phones and showing it to them. Like, there were a couple guys who actually came to do interviews, but they were standing there while I was talking with some of these kids, and while I was like making arguments to them, they were pulling stuff up and being like, yeah, that's true. So it was nice to be able to defeat the programming in real time. And we have to remember that a lot of the people that we're dealing with, our opposition here, are literally children, literally,
Right. Right.
indoctrinated children that don't understand what this is doing, and they believe that they're doing the right thing. And
Some of them
it's
truly do. You can see it in their eyes and in their heart. They think they know what they're doing, and it's really they have no clue. And so I want to touch on, isn't it really different to have that debate in person than it
yes,
is online? It's
yeah,
really it's so odd to see it in person. Someone just is so dedicated to this mistruth. And then two, it's draining as a
mhm,
person, your energy to be debating with them. I think no matter how
mhm,
extroverted or how much you like a debate, it's
mhm,
exhausting.
yeah. Just repeating and repeating. We did make some progress though, and what I realized is that I can get them to agree on all of these different things. What they don't, then it boils down to kind of like the party line and the doctrine of trans women are women. They just can't let go of that. It has been so drilled into their minds, even when it doesn't make sense anymore, even when you can see the registration on their face that it
It's
doesn't
just
make
that
sense.
instant fallback to
Still hang
TWAW.
on to it.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. And actually, I had a great conversation with the swimmer from Virginia Tech, Rose Pouch. She's amazing. Myself and some of the other women from the team, Gina and Lara, we had a great conversation with her. She came forward and did an interview with me, where she spoke just about her experience and how she doesn't understand how this has been allowed to happen. And since we had that meeting in Atlanta at the NCAA's, we've been still communicating over DMs. And she's been asking me questions about this because, again, a lot of these young women didn't realize what an issue this was until next thing you know, they're being told they have to compete against a male. And they're like, what? How can this happen? How does anyone not see that this is wrong? So, I was trying to explain it to her that this is a really, really far reaching agenda with a lot of money and a lot of powerful people at play. And a lot of young people just don't see what we see in this because they're kept in like these small silos of information,
Yeah.
and social media does that,
It's
right?
hard
It
for them to
shows,
see the threat. It really
it's hard
is.
to see the threat. They are reinforced with their belief and their worldview at every turn. We know it's in the mainstream media. We know the propaganda is everywhere. So their worldview is constantly being reinforced. So we've got to remind them that thinking outside the box is actually cool, and like thinking for yourself and going against the grain
Right.
and not going along with what everybody else is doing just because you're told to do it or else. We've got to stop, we've got to create space for young people to think outside what this like little circle or little square that they're in. And it's really hard because there is so much tension. And to be honest, they have been, I think young people have been given permission to be mean and nasty to women who oppose this. Men have been given permission to call us names, to call us misogynistic slurs, and they're taking that space, and they think it's okay because we're bigots, so they can treat us however that they want to. And we've really got to push back on that. And that's why I think it's so important that you do what you do, Beth, and that you show yourself and your face and you put yourself out there and you say, we're not scared. We're taking back public space for women, not just our bathrooms and locker rooms, but we're going out into the streets and we're saying whatever we want to say. And we're standing up for women and girls and children. And we don't care. We're not scared.
There's some of us that are going to have to hold the line. And I'm telling you, it ain't an easy job or a role to be in. But if not me, who? At this point in time, we all need to step up and start standing up for women. It's not just sports, it's everywhere. Like we were go to this website, stopfemaleerasure.com. You can find out all the different branches of this evil tree that we're talking about. This spreads so deep. It's not just erasing some women out of the history books or off the team. We're talking literally erasing what defines a woman. And when you can't define a woman, how do you protect her?
And this is happening in state laws and federal law and international law, which again, a lot of these young people don't realize either. They think this is a surface level issue. And when I try to explain, no, the laws are actually being changed. They just can't get that in their head. And a lot of people that I speak to on the street, they realize something's going on, but they have no clue about things like Biden's executive order on gender identity. They have no clue about, the UN using gender identity and pushing that to actually take away women's rights.
Hey, speaking about that, what did we do before we went to Atlanta?
Yeah. So yeah.
Tell people about what we did.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Beth, and thank you for being there. It was amazing. We had about 20 women gather in New York City at the United Nations headquarters, and we did a little protest there. We got women together. We had this fantastic banner. It's on the website, stopfemaleerasure.com, but we have this fantastic banner. And we had a great lineup of women. Beth was one of our fantastic speakers. She did an amazing job also. One of the best speeches I've heard you give. No, really, lots of passion. You did a great job. Isabella did a great job. Amy Souza spoke with so much passion. And we were so lucky to have Kelly J join us all the way from the UK. Even though she had been shuffling around, she was just in DC, took the train up to New York, had an interview, ran over to speak with us, had to run off to go and do another thing. And then a little while later, she was at the panel again with Beth. So we appreciated her coming in and joining us. She gave a great speech. And then we went and took our protest down to the streets. It was the 60th status on the Commission of Women and Girls that the UN was holding. They have they put forth an agenda for gender equality within the UN sustainability goals. Now we know what gender means. The public thinks it still might mean male and female. We know that when they say gender identity, they're talking about including males into the definition of female. So everything that the United Nations has already done in the name of women and girls, that has all been retroactively changed now. It was done in 2019. Just like with Biden's executive order, where they retroactively changed language, this is what's being done with the UN as well. So this is affecting women all over the world in countries and places where women are much more vulnerable and have much less rights and freedoms than we do. So this is very, very dangerous. And I was very grateful for a woman like Beth, who has been all over the place and really made herself a face of this movement, and all that comes with that and how difficult that is. For her to say, I want to support this small action at the UN, it meant so much to me. And for Kelly J to support it, like, it just means so much, because these are the messages that we need to get to the deeper stuff. And people care a lot about sports. It's easy to get them to care about sports. Well, not that easy. Beth has worked really, really hard. It's easier now that people can see it, but it hasn't been that easy in the years leading up to this. It's been a lot of you trying to tell people, hey, this is going on, this is going on. And they're like, oh, yeah, I sort of see it. But now it's right in their face. Leah Thomas's stuff is right in everybody's faces. And just to get so much momentum going for the sports issue is really, really important. And the fact that Beth wants to connect what's going on with sports with all of these other issues just shows even more how important it is to support Beth and her work, because we don't really have a lot of visibility right now for any of these issues. And if it's this hard to get attention for sports, imagine how much harder it is for groups like Partners for Ethical Care to get attention for the transitioning of children and puberty blockers being used on children. For me to try to talk about the United Nations, for like Amy Ichigawa and Amanda Stuhlman to talk about prisons and how males are being moved into female prisons, it's a lot harder to get people to listen about those issues. But when you put sports out in the front, and it involves children, and everyone loves sports, no matter what kind of a background you're from, everybody likes to watch
It's really
sports, everyone likes
relatable.
to play
Yeah.
them. It's a really good entry point for people. And I have never seen something like the response that we got in Atlanta. It was incredible. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I'm a very seasoned activist. I've been involved in grassroots activism and organizing for 15 plus years. And I have never seen something like the type of response that we got in Atlanta. I think the public is starting to peak. What do you think, Beth?
As a small town mom who just started a free website a few years ago, to be sitting with a team of amazing women in a hotel lobby, seeing our activism on Good Morning America, what more can I say?
Yeah.
We were on every news channel, and I haven't seen anything like that for our cause yet. And it's overwhelming, but it's also encouraging. And we know the tide is turning, and they can't ignore us all. They can't cancel us all.
That's right. Yeah, it was incredible to see how much press came out. I was kind of blown away. I knew that there was going to be a lot of media
And
there.
not just Fox. We had ABC, CBS, NBC, ESPN took the time to interview me, although all they commented on was me draping the flag over the banner. I'm okay with that. It was incredible. And not just me getting interviewed. They did take the time to interview everyone there. And it was incredible to see all my friends finally getting a chance to shine, because we don't get the opportunity enough.
Yeah, and thank you, Beth. I truly appreciate it. It was a great moment to shine and to show our solidarity together. And I watched every woman there work really, really hard, and every woman did.
Like I
get
said,
an
through
opportunity to shine.
rain, I mean, didn't get to eat on time. Really just gave their all to the cause,
Yeah, we
and it
basically
showed. It
forgot
paid off.
everything.
It paid
Yeah.
off.
It was like once we were ready in the morning, when we had everything ready at the hotel, we loaded everything up. We got out there, we lugged everything out there, and once we were there, we were there. And we were so focused
Very
on being
dedicated.
there. I don't even think we even thought about anything else. I know I didn't think about anything until it was over. I'm like, oh right, I have to pee. I need
I
to
need to
like
eat.
sit
Yeah.
down. I need to but when we were in the moment and just the energy was so high and there was such a response from the public, you didn't even think about anything else other than, oh my God, like, please have some information, take another pamphlet, please have a
Because
pin.
it is a rush. If anybody has been to a protest, and especially when it has a positive vibe to it, it's not just angry people screaming at each other.
Yeah,
It is very uplifting and energizing, and you don't want to stop because, hey, people are listening to me. They're
yeah,
taking my pamphlet. Okay, here's another one. Okay, did you read this book yet? Do you want a copy of this book? uh, we were all just nailing it so hard, and it was so
yeah.
awesome to see. And I want to bring this up while I have a chance to try and sell some merch. Here is an amazing design that
Yes,
Miss Yang put together for us. Male Don't Belong on Women's Platforms. We have
yeah,
stickers and we have t-shirts, etc., available on Teespring of this.
yeah,
And
please
then
come on and support.
our black pom-poms.
Yeah, those
Yay!
are great. Everybody
They
loved those.
say keep sports single sex. And
Yep.
we have now available online are cool double-sided plastic corrugated signs. So they'll withstand the rain. You can use them as a yard sign for protesting, for in your window, lots of uses. But we now have awareness kits that you can get a handful of these, a bunch of pom-poms, a bunch of educational materials, stickers, and you too can be the next ones on ABC, NBC, CBS. Soon you can also join the team and get one of our little jerseys too
I love
here. Those will be back in stock
those.
soon. Supply chain issues are a joy, but I think we'll get them in quick.
Yeah, that toolkit.
Lots of ways to raise awareness, and we would love for you to get our awareness kit and tag Save Women Sports, and we'll share your pictures, share your stories, and best believe that you will see the Save Women Sports team every chance we can when there is an adult male competing in women's sports.
Yeah,
But we are aware that this issue does extend far into even very young elementary school kids are having to deal with this, and they don't have a voice yet. They don't know yet. They don't have the courage. And that's why we're here too,
right.
is to speak for those girls. They haven't even been bullied into silence. They just don't know better yet.
Hmm.
And they deserve to grow up in a world where they have a fair chance and safe sex separated spaces.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really encourage women to go check out the website and go look through the shop. There's a lot of really great stuff on there.
We keep
And
adding some more stuff. Yep. SaveWomenSports.com/shop.
yeah, even just wearing a button or a t-shirt that says Save Women's Sports, you go out just going grocery
It's a
shopping or
great
out for a walk
conversation
or something,
starter.
and it's something to start a conversation about. You would be surprised how many people are receptive to this.
Oh,
Um,
very much so. And looking for the opportunity to talk about it, really,
yes,
because it seems so taboo. They see your butt and they're like, oh, they're safe to talk to about this.
yes.
So if we all wore a button or we all wore a shirt, we can win.
And with the toolkit that Beth just put together, which I think is just an awesome idea, with the toolkit, you can basically just pick one of those up, throw it in your car, and you're like a one-woman protest ready to go. You don't have a car, like throw stuff in your backpack or your purse, like take it on the train with you. You're ready to go whenever the conversation arises or an opportunity comes up. Because it's great to sticker and it's awesome, and I totally encourage the stickering, but giving information and directly connecting with someone and looking at
It's
them in
that
the face
grassroots
and giving them
activism
something,
that will make the difference. You're
because
totally
they
right.
will leave and remember that, and they will go back to that conversation again and again as they move through life, and as they see more things happening in the media, they'll go back and think, oh yeah, I had that conversation with that woman and she said all these things and it actually seems like she was right. And a lot of people, it's common sense. It's common sense. The people that don't agree with us are indoctrinated. And then we know that we're dealing with very powerful people with a lot of money and power, and they're just forcing this through. So they're forcing it through, and they don't really have anything to stand on but a bunch of young, indoctrinated people who are confused and angry. And I think a lot of those young people, if they understood how they were being exploited, they would be very
They wouldn't
upset.
be very happy. Exactly.
Because that's
Exactly.
how I was when I found out, when I realized what I had been used as a pawn to push this agenda to take away women's rights. When I realized that, I was going into Albany at the state level in New York, going to the legislator, lobbying for trans rights, lobbying to take female sex segregated spaces away, and I didn't even realize it. And when I did realize what I had done and what all of this was really about, I was sick, literally sickened over it. And I knew at that moment that I would never stop speaking out about this, and that this is what the rest of my life would be, because I also knew that with the amount of rights that women have already lost, we are going to be fighting the rest of our lives
Right.
to get them
Right.
back.
Well, once you find out, how do you not speak up? How do you go to bed and not say something? And that's where, I do get to be a little angry when it comes to these swimmers and their parents from this event. Like, how do you not say something? How are you not stepping up and protecting your daughters right now? I don't care if your job's not at stake, or if, what is it for them to sit out and protest? It's saving future generations of sports forever and ever. Amen. Like, if you don't, who will? If you don't sit out, your daughters won't have sports. Why is your race more important than your daughters? Or why is your scholarship more important than future generations of women? I think some of these other people are going to have to step up that have more power. I'm just a housewife. Look what I've done. I mean, come on.
And I really want to call attention to that while we have the opportunity, because it just, like Beth said, like, she's just a housewife, just like, we're not, any of us are just anything, but anyone can get up and start doing something and making a difference. It's incredible to me to see how much Beth's work has grown. We met, like, I think it was 2 years ago only. It
In
seems
New
like a lot
York,
longer
yes.
ago because of how much crazy stuff goes on with all of this. It's always something. But we met about 2 years ago in New York City at the Canceled Women event. And it was like the first time I had, like, come out in public and was just kind of like, so who are these churfs that follow me on the internet? Who are these people? And I was very, like, kind of like, not sure. And Beth had just flown in all the way from the Midwest and was, like, in New York City for the first time. And she had her Save Women's Sports handmade shirt on, and she was kind of timid, and I was kind of like a little like this, and made friends. And actually, Kelly J, like, kind of took Beth around, and they did some karaoke and some fun stuff like that. And it's crazy. That was only 2 years ago.
And then we
And
were back just now 2 years later, and you're
yeah,
doing this amazing organizing outside the UN, and I'm
yeah,
sitting on a panel with her where I was in the
yes.
audience 2 years ago. That was pretty touching, and to be sitting next to her and to be on this panel, I'm still kinda, like, having a pinch me moment, to be honest with you. It hasn't all sunk in.
Yeah, and
Like,
you women were incredible on the panel. I know a lot of women were asking about the panel, and there was no special invitations or anything like that. It just went up on
no, it was
Eventbrite. I
an
happened to see it.
Eventbrite.
I
It was
happened to see it. I thought, well, I'm in New York. I'm obviously going.
I
And Beth
shared
was
it a few
there.
times, much as
Yeah,
I
I
could.
was thinking at the very least, I'm going to hang out with Beth again, because we've had the opportunity to hang
It was a
out.
very small event. It was just 50 people or so. So the tickets
Yeah,
were
but it was
good.
great, and it was organized by Jennifer Law, who's an amazing woman, and she does a lot of work around the
Yeah.
surrogacy issue. And I highly suggest
And
you
it
all to
was,
check out her work and the panel. I know that some of it is online, and I think she'll be putting all of it online eventually. So be looking for that too.
Yeah, it was professionally recorded. So I guess a birdie told me that there might have been too much cheering and chanting going on. And so there might need to be some edits to the speeches. So
There was a
hopefully
lot of
so.
cheering. There was a lot of
It's just
cheering.
a really amazing thing for me to feel that love, because normally I'm just in a uh, rigid environment of the Capitol, getting my 2 to 5 minutes to testify, maybe getting booed at by somebody in the hallway. Otherwise, there's no cheering. There's usually not much of a good job, even. You just go in and do your dirty work and get out. And it was really fun to have people be encouraged and cheer like that. And they cheered for everyone's speeches. Everyone was so happy and so excited to be together and this amazing group of women speaking.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it was so powerful again being in front of the United Nations, knowing that they are like this massive seat of power for the world,
it
and
all
we
trickles
were out
down from
there
here.
and we had women representing from all kinds of organizations, Rev Femme Rebellion, Partners for Ethical
Yeah.
Care.
Mhm.
Who else was out there? There were so many. There were so
Amy
many women.
Sousa, she
Amy
did
Sousa was with us.
Curve Collective,
First
Jessica
Collective, yeah, we
Gonzalez.
had Jessica Gonzalez. She did an amazing job. She was
Isabella,
our
Whose Body
MC.
Is It?
Yeah, whose body is it? And we just had such a great time. We had Jenna from WLRN, Jen Ziggin, who's a New
Hey,
York City
sorry
radical.
if we forgot about you. Our batteries are still not fully charged from the weekend. So if you're there, we still love you. It's just
Batteries
our
left.
bad. All right. All right. Our bad. Uh, but we had an
Um,
amazing time in all these different cities. And it's just a start. I hope everyone's more encouraged to just, do more than just speak out online. Go and talk to your legislator. Like, go to ask your local rep, are you feeding into this bullshit? If you are, I'm not going to vote for you. It's plain and simple. Like, I'm sick of playing nice here. It's time to step up and do things that make a big difference. And
yeah.
voting, using your pocketbook, and just researching. Knowledge is power here.
And make noise in your own community, talk to people when you can. Just talk to people. Don't be afraid.
Unless you're like me and you're an introvert and you're afraid to go to the grocery store because people recognize you from ESPN now.
getting harangued in the
Crazy life.
banana aisle. Yeah, but go out there, and do something and say something. And if there are events in your area where you see that women are getting together and gathering, like just go check it out. Maybe, maybe it's not for you, but maybe it is. And maybe you meet someone, like the way that Beth and I met, and look at here we are 2 years later and doing all this work. And so many other incredible women that I've met all over this country now at this point.
Most
Women are out
definitely.
there and
And
getting activated.
internationally, I mean, working with Kelly J. Keane now. We had Linda Blade coming down from Canada. I've
Yes.
got women in Australia, New Zealand, Spain, Germany, all really working to save women's sports, but we all have the same realization that it comes down to that being the tip of the iceberg of the erasure of women.
Yes. And again, this is why it's so important to support Beth's work and Save Women's Sports, because I really think of Save Women's Sports as kind of like the tip of the arrow. And the rest of us are kind of clinging on, like, please listen about all these other
It's
issues
sad to
that
say, but it is the last
are palatable.
hope. It seems to be the last hope for a lot of these other issues. And like it or not, it's going to be the battle that we're going to fight on. And I just like to remind everyone out there that we don't all have to agree on everything to come together to fight this one thing. And if we can all come together to fight this one thing, we're all going to win in the end.
Yeah. And I'm the deprogrammer, and I have a lot of out there beliefs that aren't for everybody. And that's been fine for me working with other women, and a lot of times we are able to have great conversations and agree about stuff. But if I waited for to find another woman that agrees with everything that I believe or think, I'd be waiting for the rest of my life, because it's just not going
Amen.
to
And
happen.
also, if I waited for everything to be perfect, if I waited to pick the perfect name for the website, if I waited to pick the perfect, I wouldn't be where I was. I just ran with it. I said,
Yeah.
I got to do something, and you go, you do. We can't
Yeah.
spend so much time spinning our wheels. Who cares what color we're painting our fingernails tomorrow for the protest? Like, let's do the banners for the protest. I hate to be
Yeah.
stereotypical there, but it just seems to be a lot of stuff that doesn't need to happen going on, wasting our time.
Yeah, we've got to be proactive because, like it or not, this is the resistance. This is it.
We are the
We're
resistance.
the resistance. You know,
We've been warned the resistance would not be televised, but we're getting there.
a little bit of television. Granted, they definitely could have included more of the story from you, but we know what we're up against. We know what media manipulation looks like. We know what it's like to have a narrative cut out from the public view. And that's what we're dealing with. And that's why it is so important to meet with people face to face, person to person, where the real energies are exchanged. And you know,
Power to the
a lot of
people, for
people are
sure.
sick of the mainstream news. They know they're getting not the whole story, and a lot of people are just tired of it. And I know a lot of people don't even watch news or even look to the news anymore, and that's maybe a good thing. And let's use that to our advantage, and let's get out there and talk to people. And I know that everybody likes the online activism, and there is a lot of power in that, and we can do a lot of things with that. Obviously, I do a lot of it myself, but be strategic about what you're posting online, and try to like make some of your own content. Reword things, like, because we see a lot of wording that erases women, that concedes a lot to the agenda. Maybe take some of that, reword it, and make a new post. Like, anything that you can do to disrupt the programming, and don't just do the same thing over and over again. We've got to try different things. We need a diversity of messages and a diversity of voices, and every voice counts. And if you think
Oh,
you don't
most
have something
definitely.
to offer to this, that's not true.
Most
Everyone has
definitely.
something to offer to
I
this.
honestly felt like I had no power in this battle whatsoever, and I had a very strong conservative woman take me by the hand and tell me, you just need to speak up. Everyone's voice matters, and whose voice matters most is just the average people right now. You
And the
have no
average
idea
woman,
how much power we have. You
and the
just
average
have
woman
to speak
matters.
up. Do you guys think I had any idea that I would be here after starting a free website a couple of years ago? Heck no. I mean, just grab the bull by the horns and get something done. And like the girls across the sea said, deeds not words.
Yes, deeds, not words. Yeah, it's time. We've got to get boots on the ground. I know that, a lot of people are resistant to that because we have faced a lot of threats. We've faced harassment. We know what that's like. We've gotten the death threats. We've gotten the rape threats. We've gotten every insult in the book. We've gotten our inboxes flooded. We all know what that's like. And that is their goal, is to scare us and silence us. They
Right,
want
right.
to intimidate
In
us.
fact,
To keep
I mentioned when I shared this link that I'm not very comfortable doing live streams. And part of that is because the
Right.
first time I started doing them is they bombed my live stream and started saying like my sound wasn't working and all these different things, or the link wasn't working, and trying to get me to shut up. And looky here, I don't think I see a single one of them in the chats, because once you start speaking the truth and not backing down, they know they can't mess with you anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the spell is broken for us, and all of you. If you're watching this, the spell has been broken for you probably for a long time now, and we just got to get out there and start disrupting and breaking the mind programming for people. And like it or not, that comes from in-person interactions are the best way to do it. There's nothing to break through than in person, because all the preconceived everything falls away. The avatar is gone, the screen is gone, and it's just two people again. And we need to get back to being able to have conversation. And I think it's important for like what Beth is doing with getting us out there on the streets with Save Women's Sports, and what a lot of other women have been doing with protests, like at the gender clinics, and
Prisons, yeah.
the prisons, like getting out there on the street. it's so important, because when we do that, we show we're not scared, and we create space for women to come forward, and we continue to assert this boundary that women are allowed to speak in public, women are allowed to express ourselves and assert our rights, and we will not be tolerating violence for speaking. And the more that we demonstrate that, and the more that that's shown, the more it sets the tone as well. And they start to realize, oh, this isn't going to be acceptable. The general public isn't going to accept this. And I don't know about you, Beth, but I've already noticed a toning down of a lot of the trolling.
Oh, yes, most
Yeah,
definitely. After doing such a big event, I expected death threats, and the best I got was people attacking my physical appearance.
yeah, yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
come at me, bro.
yeah.
Definitely
Likewise, it started with
a
the
different environment.
what's that?
It's definitely a different environment now that we're in.
Mm-hmm. And the more we keep on claiming that space and showing that, yes, we will be showing up. Yes, we will be saying trans women are men. Yes, we will be saying female spaces for females only. Yes, we will be saying all of those things. And we won't be accepting or tolerating any violence for speaking up for women and girls and children. The more we do that, just the more we claim space, and the more we show other people that it's okay. And I thoroughly believe that because we were there in Atlanta, outside the arena at the NCAAs, singing our songs, doing our chants, handing out our literature, it created space for those people who were there attending, parents, friends, family members, other students, members of the public. It made them feel confident that they could say something too. And I really got the feeling that had we not done all that really boisterous, like, hey, it's okay, there would have been a lot of looking the other way and trying to just not think about it.
Yeah.
Because it's hurtful. People are really upset that this is happening, and they think that they can't say anything. And we have to keep telling them, no, you can say something.
Right, right. And if
And
you would like to join our team the next time around, I would like to apologize to everyone out there who would have liked to have been with us in Atlanta. We had to keep things pretty small. I had been dealing with some illness and didn't even know if I would be coming out there or not, and also been dealing with a lot of harassment lately. So we didn't want to see our action get taken down by counteraction before it even started. So if you'd like to join us the next time, which should be a couple months from now, go to savewomensports.com/action-team and scroll down. You can see all the fabulous articles and videos of all of us in Atlanta first before you get to the bottom, and you can sign up to join the action team, and we will let you know the next time we will be out there on the streets raising awareness, because it does make a big difference, and we would love to have you. We'll have an extra sign for you to hold. I travel with lots of extras. So
I've never seen anybody travel like Beth, first of all.
oh my goodness, the bags I packed and the money I paid. I should have just shipped a bunch of stuff to the hotel. But anyway, we made it.
Suitcases, like if you've ever seen the clown car where they keep getting out and another one
it was terrible.
Like, here's 100 books, here's 50 yard signs, here's 300 pom-poms, here's a generator.
Well, luckily our good friend Mary drove from the Carolinas, Mary, and she drove a bunch of this stuff over. But yeah, I still had 70-pound bags that I was trying to wheel around. But next time around, we know how to do things differently. So
it's a good thing you're a power lifter, so
yeah.
you can around.
Well,
thank you so much for having me, Beth. And I really want to just encourage all the women to please support Beth and Save Women's Sports. And I'm asking you that as myself. And I think a lot of you women have followed my work with the Deprogrammer, and you know what I'm about. And Beth supports me and I support her. And like I said, I think that the sports issue is the tip of the arrow, and we've really got to get behind this, because this is what I think can really crack this can get the public to peak trans. And I've been seeing it for myself. And ever since I got home, I've had nothing but conversations with people in my life being like, oh, this is what's going on. They finally see it now. They've heard me talk about it for years. And they're like, okay, like, why is she so obsessed with this? Like, what the hell? Now they're like, oh my God.
Tell me. Oh my God. What's
happening?
Yeah. Well, and since you were so sweet, I'm going to go ahead and plug you. There is some PayPal accounts that I will end up linking in the description so you can donate to Miss Yang here. And also she's got a Patreon, I believe, still active that you can.
And I just made one for Stop Female Erasure. Going to try to be doing more actions. If you're in New York and you want to connect with me, send me an email at the Deprogrammer or Stop Female Erasure at Proton Mail. I'm very accessible on Instagram. Actually, I don't check my DMs that much, but I'm accessible. If you're in New York, like, hit me up, because we've done some actions here before and I hope to do some again. And there are some women starting to network in New York and in the upstate area. And just so you all know, the prison issue is coming here to New York as well. Everything that California does, New York follows. And we've now got some bills coming up trying to move males into female prisons. So we obviously won't be standing for that. And I'll be supporting Keep Prison Single Sex USA chapter and Amanda Stuhlman. She was one of our speakers at the United Nations. Go check out that work. If you don't know what's going on with the prison issue, find out. We need all hands on deck exposing this.
You betcha, as they say over in my neck of the woods. I'm going to leave us now with saying women won't wish.
Women won't wish.
And we will win.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I hope to chat with you another time. And I look forward to the next time we get to do some activism together. Thank you, everyone that joined. Donate, get some merch, do your part, have those tough conversations with people. Until next time, see ya.